No one believed the Deathworld girl could fight. Now they're still counting the bodies. Her home world was called Cinder Vale by humans, but most aliens just called it a Deathworld. The planet was heavy, with gravity stronger than most species could stand. Storms rolled across the land like moving mountains. The rain fell hard enough to bruise skin. Animals hunted not for hunger alone, but to survive against the world itself. People on Cinder Vale learned early that being gentle did not mean being weak. Lily grew up in a small metal town pressed into dark stone. Buildings were low and thick, shaped to survive the winds. When she was a child, she learned how to walk without falling in high gravity. When she was older, she learned how to run when the ground shook. Her mother taught her how to fight with empty hands. Her father taught her how to stay calm when death felt close. No one on Cinder Vale survived by chance. Still, when Lily left her world, none of that seemed to matter. The Academy station floated in calm space, far from any violent star. It was clean, bright, and light. Lily felt almost weightless when she stepped off the transport. Her boots felt wrong on the smooth floor. Her body wanted to press down harder, but the station did not answer. It made her feel slow, almost soft. She carried one small bag. She wore a plain uniform. Her brown hair was tied back, simple and neat. She did not look dangerous. That was why they laughed. Aliens from many worlds filled the wide hall, tall ones with armor like skin, thin ones with sharp eyes. Some had claws, some had horns, some moved like liquid shadows. They all looked at the humans when they entered. Most of the humans were nervous. They stood close together. Lily stood a little apart. A large alien with blue-gray skin leaned toward another and spoke loudly enough for others to hear. He said humans came from soft worlds. He said humans broke easily. His group laughed. Lily did not react. Ben Harris noticed her standing alone. He was older than most of the cadets, already a junior officer assigned to guide them. He walked over with a tired smile. He told her the academy was not kind to newcomers. He said it was better not to stand out. He warned her that many species did not respect humans. Lily nodded and thanked him. Her voice was calm. She said she understood. Ben studied her for a moment. He asked where she was from. When she said Cinder Vale, his smile faded a little. He had heard of it. He said that was a hard place to grow up. He said she must be strong to leave it. Lily only said that everyone there was strong or they did not last. The first week passed in lessons and tests, strategy rooms, history halls, simulation chambers. Most of it felt easy to Lily. She listened more than she spoke. She remembered everything. She noticed patterns others missed. In physical training, the instructors adjusted gravity to match the average species. For Lily, it felt like floating. She had to slow herself down to avoid moving too fast. When she ran, she forced her steps to stay short. When she lifted weights, she pretended they were heavy. She learned early that showing too much would bring attention. Some of the alien cadets mocked her openly. They called her quiet. They called her small. One of them, a tall reptilian fighter named Karvek, made jokes about how humans should stay behind shields and screens. Lily heard every word. She said nothing. At night, she lay in her bunk and stared at the metal ceiling. The station hummed softly. It was a peaceful sound. Too peaceful. She missed the roar of wind. She missed the pressure of gravity. Her body felt restless, like a coiled wire. She thought about home, about the first time she had to fight to protect her younger brother from a wild beast that slipped into the town. She remembered the fear, but also the focus. How the world narrowed until only movement and breath mattered. Here, no one saw that part of her. During team exercises, Lily was often placed at the edge, never the leader, rarely trusted with important roles. Instructors followed old data and old beliefs. Humans were planners, not fighters, support, not spear. Lily followed orders exactly. She did not argue, but she watched. She saw how alien squads relied too much on strength, how they charged without checking corners. how they trusted armor more than awareness. She noticed how fear spread fast when plans broke. Once, during a simulation, an alien teammate froze when the enemy shifted position. Lily moved without thinking. She pulled him down, rolled behind cover, and pointed out a safer path. The instructor noticed but said nothing. Afterward, the alien thanked her, embarrassed. Others whispered that it was just luck. Ben Harris watched from the control deck. He saw how Lily moved. He saw how she never wasted energy. It reminded him of soldiers who had seen real war. He asked her later why she never tried to lead. Lily answered honestly. She said leaders who were not trusted only got people killed. Ben had no reply to that. Rumors about her began to form, but they were weak and uncertain. Some said she was strange. Some said she was hiding something. Others said she would wash out soon. Lily did not care. She trained every day. She practiced balance in low gravity. She practiced control. She practiced patience. She knew something would come. It always did. On Cinder Vale, Danger never asked for permission. One afternoon, during weapons training, an instructor paired Lily against Karvik in a controlled match. The room grew quiet. Karvik grinned, showing sharp teeth. He made a show of cracking his neck and flexing his claws. He told her not to worry. He said he would end it fast. Lily met his eyes. Her face stayed calm. The match started. Karvik lunged, fast and powerful. Lily stepped aside with a movement so smooth it looked lazy. She tapped his arm, twisted her body, and let his own weight carry him forward. He stumbled. The room gasped. Karvik recovered quickly and attacked again, harder this time. Lily blocked, redirected, and moved inside his reach. She struck pressure points his species did not guard. She did not hit to impress. She hit to stop. The instructor ended the match early. Karvik stood breathing hard, confused and angry. Lily stepped back and waited. The instructor warned both of them. He said the exercise was about restraint. Later, some said Karvik had slipped. Others said Lily had cheated, but a few began to look at her differently. That night, Lily sat alone in the common area. She cleaned her gloves carefully. Her hands were steady. She knew this place was not her home, but she also knew the galaxy was larger than any one world. Danger lived everywhere. Sooner or later it would show its face. When it did, she would be ready. And when that day came, no one would laugh. Lily's second week at the academy brought new challenges, and the whispers about her only grew louder. Alien cadets who had once ignored her now watched her closely, their curiosity mixed with doubt. She still did not speak much, still kept her head down, but her eyes were always alert, scanning every corner, noticing every movement. She learned quickly that in this station, appearances were everything. One misstep, one wrong glance, and rumors could turn into attacks. One morning, the cadets were gathered in the combat arena. It was a wide space, with high ceilings and walls lined with observation decks. The instructors announced a team exercise. Squads of mixed species would fight each other in a simulation meant to test tactics, speed, and adaptability. Many of the alien cadets grinned, already imagining how easy it would be to humiliate the humans. Lily's team was small. She was paired with Ben Harris, who would act as squad leader, and two other humans, Eric and Maya. The rest were alien cadets: Karvik, the tall reptilian, Sierra, a swift shadow-like being, and Jolter, a heavy brute with 4 arms. From the start, the aliens made their disdain clear. Karvik smirked, mocking Lily as she checked her gear. Sierra whispered that humans were useless in real combat. Jolter laughed, flexing his muscles. Lily ignored them. She focused on breathing, balancing, and moving lightly, even in the low-gravity arena. She felt her body remembering her home world. Every step, every shift of weight, every small adjustment was precise. She knew she was lighter than the aliens, but that gave her speed. It gave her a chance to strike where they were slow. The instructor signaled the start. Holographic enemies appeared, shifting shapes and moving unpredictably. Karvik charged immediately, claws extended. Jolter followed, heavy and slow, relying on brute force. Sierra disappeared into shadows, ready to ambush. Lily's instincts kicked in. She moved between them, keeping calm. She did not attack first, she waited for openings. Karvik lunged at Eric. Eric froze. Lily did not hesitate. She grabbed Karvik's arm, twisted his momentum, and sent him stumbling past Eric. Karvik's claws scratched the floor, but he did not hit anyone. The arena gasped. Eric blinked in disbelief. Maya hesitated, unsure what to do next. Lily's voice was calm but firm. She pointed and gave quick instructions. They moved as a unit. The aliens were shocked. They had expected humans to falter, to scream, to fall. But Lily moved with a certainty they had never seen. She ducked under Jolter's swing, using his own momentum to push him off balance. She dodged Sierra's shadow strike, moving closer to flank her. She struck pressure points, not to kill but to stop. Every move was calculated, every step precise. The instructor watched from the control deck. He was silent, eyes narrowing. He had seen many cadets fail spectacularly, but Lily's skill was unusual. She was small, human, and yet she controlled the battlefield like a veteran warrior. He took notes, intrigued but cautious. He did not interfere, letting the exercise play out. As the exercise progressed, Lily's team began to take control. Karvik tried to attack her directly, underestimating her. She sidestepped, tripping him and sending him crashing into a holographic wall. Jolter was heavy and strong but slow. Lily used her speed to keep him off balance, keeping him from attacking her teammates. Sierra grew frustrated, her shadows flickering as she tried to outmaneuver Lily, but Lily anticipated her moves. She blocked, dodged, and countered. Every action was measured, efficient, deadly in its precision. By the end of the exercise, Lily's team had subdued the holographic enemies with minimal injury. The arena was quiet. The instructors looked at each other, impressed but unwilling to admit it openly. Karvik glared at Lily, breathing hard, anger and disbelief clear on his face. Sierra folded her arms, watching quietly, realizing the humans were not as weak as she thought. Jolter muttered, shaking his head. Rumors began to spread quickly. Cadets whispered about the Deathworld girl who moved like lightning and struck like steel. Some said she had cheated. Others said she had hidden training the instructors did not know about. A few admitted quietly that she was exceptional. Still, many laughed nervously, unwilling to fully believe what they had seen. Lily did not respond to the rumors. She cleaned her gear in the corner methodically, quietly. She focused on preparing for the next challenge. She knew that this was only the beginning. In her world, danger never came politely. It struck without warning, without mercy, and she had survived every time by staying alert, staying ready, and trusting her own strength. That evening, she joined Ben for a quiet walk through the station. He asked her how she had learned to fight so efficiently. She smiled slightly, saying it was just what she had to do to survive back home. He nodded, sensing there was more to the story but choosing not to press. He knew some lessons could only be learned in action, not words. Over the next few days, training became more intense. Instructors increased the complexity of simulations. They added environmental hazards, low visibility, sudden gravity shifts, moving platforms. Many cadets struggled, failing to adapt quickly. Lily excelled. She moved with grace, using her body and mind together. She anticipated hazards, avoided danger, and guided her teammates. Alien cadets began to take notice. Whispers turned to cautious respect. Some, like Sierra, began to observe her closely, analyzing her techniques. Others, like Karvik, remained openly hostile, unwilling to accept that a human, and a small one at that, could outmatch them. They underestimated her, and Lily learned to use that against them. One day, the instructors set up a surprise full combat scenario. Holographic enemies were stronger, faster, more aggressive. The arena was larger with obstacles and traps. Cadets were forced into unpredictable situations. Panic spread among many teams. Human cadets were often last to respond, but not Lily. She moved swiftly, coordinating with Ben, Eric, and Maya. She adapted instantly, reading the battlefield as if it were a map she had walked 1,000 times. In one moment, Karvik tried to corner her in a narrow passage. Lily ducked, rolled, and used his own speed to send him sliding past her. Jolter attempted a heavy strike, and she stepped aside, letting his weight carry him forward while she guided Maya to disable him. Sierra attacked from above, shadows flickering. Lily caught her arm mid-strike, redirecting her into a wall. The instructor ended the exercise early. No one had been hurt, but the display left the arena in stunned silence. Afterward, cadets gathered, talking quietly among themselves. The laughter and mocking had mostly stopped. Whispers of "she's from Cinder Vale" carried a different weight now. Some aliens even admitted she was dangerous. Dangerous enough to be feared, though none said it out loud. Ben watched her quietly from the sidelines, pride mixed with concern. He knew that what she had done in training could not stay contained forever. Her skill would draw attention, attention that might not always be friendly. That night Lily walked alone through the station corridors. The lights cast long shadows and the hum of the station was soft and constant. She felt a strange mixture of calm and anticipation. The academy had been a test and she had passed, but this place was peaceful. It did not challenge her fully. She missed the harsh storms of Cinder Vale, the crushing weight of her planet, the constant presence of danger. Here the enemy moved slow, predictable. Soon enough that would change. She thought about her next challenge. Not just surviving the academy or impressing instructors, but proving, when it mattered, that the humans from Deathworlds could fight in ways others could not imagine. She clenched her fists, feeling the quiet strength that had carried her through countless battles at home. It would not be long before the real test arrived. And when it did, no one would be able to underestimate the Deathworld girl again. The alarm blared through the academy station, long before anyone could see the first ship. Red lights flashed across the corridors, and a cold, mechanical voice announced, "Unidentified hostile vessels approaching. All cadets report to defense stations immediately." Panic spread among the cadets like wildfire. Alien cadets who had been mocking humans just days ago now scrambled for cover. Some tripped over equipment. Others shouted orders that no one followed. Chaos ruled the station. Lily felt the shift immediately. Her body tightened, her mind sharpened. This was real. Not training, not simulations. Real danger. The kind that could tear lives apart in seconds. She moved quickly, her boots making solid thuds on the metal floor. The low gravity of the station was strange, but she adjusted instinctively. Her team, Ben, Eric, and Maya, followed her without hesitation. They had learned to trust her instincts, even if they did not fully understand her skill. The enemy was a pirate fleet, notorious across the sector for sudden attacks and complete ruthlessness. Their ships moved fast, sleek, and deadly. They had weapons designed to pierce defenses, to destroy stations like this one without mercy. The station's alarms grew louder, warnings echoing down every corridor. Lily led her team to the armory. Weapons of all kinds lined the walls, some of them alien technology she had never seen before. She picked her tools carefully, a lightweight blaster for mobility, a short combat knife, and a small device that could deploy temporary shields. She handed similar equipment to her teammates and motioned them to follow. As they moved through the station, cadets were already panicking. A group of alien trainees tried to barricade a door, but their technique was sloppy. Lily ran forward, assessing the situation in seconds. She grabbed one of the aliens and repositioned him, then ordered a human cadet to stabilize a control panel. The barricade held just long enough for reinforcements to arrive. Ben hesitated. He looked at her. "Lily, are you sure you know what you're doing?" She did not answer. She never did. She moved like a shadow, eyes scanning, body ready. She relied on what she knew: speed, timing and the ability to stay calm when others were losing it. The first wave of pirates boarded the station. Their armor was black and jagged, their faces hidden behind visors. They moved in coordinated patterns, shooting and striking with precision. Many alien cadets froze at the sight. Some ran in panic. Others tried to fight but were quickly overwhelmed. Lily did not hesitate. She dropped into a crouch, rolled behind cover, and fired her blaster at the nearest pirate. The shot hit a control panel near him, creating sparks and a brief flash that blinded the enemy. She moved before he could recover, stabbing him in a weak point in his armor. He fell silently, almost too fast for the cadets to notice. Ben followed her, directing other cadets where to go. Eric and Maya stuck close to Lily, trusting her completely. They moved through corridors filled with alarms, flashing lights, and the screams of those caught in crossfire. Everywhere, the pirates expected chaos. They expected the cadets to panic. They did not expect strategy, precision, or patience. And they certainly did not expect Lily Adams. In one corridor, a pirate charged at a group of humans with a heavy plasma rifle. Lily saw the angle, the weight of the weapon, the speed of the attack. She ran forward, grabbed a metal support beam, swung it like a bat, and knocked the pirate off balance. Eric tackled him to finish the move. Lily moved on before anyone could fully react. Another group of cadets were trapped in a control room. Pirates had breached the door. Sierra, who had once mocked Lily, froze in terror. Lily did not hesitate. She kicked the door with force, breaking the lock, and pulled Sierra to safety. Together, they created a small defensive perimeter, holding the door long enough for more cadets to retreat. Sierra stared at her in shock. For the first time, she was speechless. As the battle raged, Lily began to notice patterns. The pirates were strong, yes, but predictable in their aggression. She used the station's layout to her advantage. Narrow hallways, low ceilings, corners, and obstacles became her allies. She split small groups of cadets into teams, guiding them through ambush points and choke zones. They moved like shadows, appearing and disappearing. The station's instructors tried to take control from the observation decks. They sent in commands, shouted orders, but it was already too late. The situation required instinct, not protocol, and Lily's instinct was unmatched. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Pirates fell one by one, ambushed, outsmarted, or overpowered by coordinated squads led by Lily. The cadets began to rally around her. Even those who had doubted her skill, who had laughed at her small frame, now followed her commands without question. Ben watched from a distance, a mix of pride and disbelief on his face. "She's something else," he muttered to himself. "Something dangerous in the right way." But the battle was far from over. The pirates had elite warriors among them, known for annihilating entire crews. They were larger, faster, and more brutal than the standard fighters. When they arrived, the cadets hesitated. Fear spread like poison. Most aliens backed down. Some ran. Lily did not. She stepped forward, signaling to her team to follow. She assessed the elite pirates carefully. She noted weak points in their armor, their timing, and their movements. She could not defeat all of them at once. She needed strategy, patience, and precision. The first elite attacked. A massive creature with spiked armor and glowing red eyes lunged at Lily. She dodged, rolled, and used his own momentum to send him crashing into a wall. She fired her blaster at weak points in his armor, staggering him. Eric and Maya attacked at the right moment, bringing him down. Another elite came from the side, faster, more agile. Lily met him head-on. She blocked his strike, countered, and twisted his limb, using pressure points she had studied in training. He stumbled, surprised by her speed and skill. She moved again before he could recover, leading him into a trap set by cadets under her guidance. Throughout the battle, cadets recorded feeds on their devices. Nora Brooks, an alien with a sharp mind and fast reflexes, captured every move. She would later show these recordings across the sector. The humans and aliens watched as Lily and her team tore through elite pirates with efficiency and calm precision. The impossible became reality. The Deathworld girl was unstoppable. By the time the last wave of pirates was defeated, the station was quiet. Corridors were littered with defeated enemies. Cadets checked each other for injuries, their expressions a mixture of relief and disbelief. Many of the alien cadets were silent, unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. Lily, tired but steady, helped the wounded. She did not celebrate, she did not gloat. She only made sure her team survived and the station was secure. Ben approached her, shaking his head in amazement. "Lily, you just did what I thought was impossible," he said. She shrugged lightly. "I just did what I had to. The rest doesn't matter." News of the battle spread quickly across the sector. Whispers became stories. Stories became warnings. Humans from Deathworlds were no longer underestimated. Cadets who had mocked her now spoke her name in hushed tones, a mix of respect and fear. Lily walked through the corridors later that night. She counted nothing, not victories, not bodies, not fame. She thought about the world she had come from, where survival was never guaranteed, where danger was constant. This station, this sector, it was different. But she was ready, always ready, and somewhere deep inside she knew this was only the beginning. Enemies would come again. They would underestimate her again. And again, she would prove that the humans from Deathworlds fought not to show off, not to boast, but to survive, and to protect those who could not survive without her. The station was quiet now, but somewhere in the darkness, new threats were already taking notice. Lily Adams would not wait for them to strike. She would meet them head-on. The station was quiet for only a few hours. Alarms had stopped, the injured were treated, and the cadets were still catching their breath. But calm was temporary. Far beyond the station, sensors detected a new signal. This one was not a stray pirate vessel. It was a fleet, larger, more organized, with ships that glowed like molten metal in the void. Reports confirmed the worst. The pirates were sending their elite strike team. The kind of warriors that could destroy entire stations. Lily stood on the observation deck, looking out at the incoming fleet. Her eyes narrowed. She had faced elite fighters before, but never in such numbers. She could feel the tension in the air, heavy and suffocating. Most cadets were panicking already. Alien cadets whispered about retreat. Humans tried to stay calm, but fear showed in their shaking hands and nervous glances. Ben came up behind her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Lily, this fleet, they're not like the last ones. They've killed entire crews before." She looked at him, calm as ever. "We survive by fighting smart, not by hoping they will fail." Her team, Eric and Maya, stood ready, weapons in hand. Lily walked among the cadets, checking positions, giving instructions quietly. She spoke little, but every word carried weight. Cadets listened. They obeyed. Some still doubted her ability, but none could ignore her confidence. When the first strike pods landed on the station, chaos erupted again. These warriors were fast, armored, and merciless. They attacked in waves, breaking through bulkheads, tearing through doors, and aiming directly for control centers. The alien cadets faltered, their training useless against real skill. The humans, inspired by Lily, moved with purpose, covering each other, setting traps and responding to her commands instantly. Lily moved through corridors like a storm. She struck first where others hesitated, blocked attacks before they landed, and redirected the enemy's own force against them. Her team followed seamlessly. She did not waste time or energy. Every action was precise, every movement deliberate. In one hallway, 3 elite pirates cornered a small group of cadets. Panic was evident on their faces. Lily stepped forward, analyzing their stance, their weapons, their patterns. She moved almost too fast to see, striking with blaster and blade, dodging attacks, and guiding her cadets to flanking positions. In moments, the pirates were disarmed and incapacitated. The cadets stared in disbelief. Sierra, who had once mocked Lily, now moved beside her, silent and focused. Together, they coordinated attacks. Alien cadets who had run before were now following orders, holding positions they would have abandoned minutes before. Fear still lingered, but it was tempered by determination. Lily inspired it without speaking much. Ben watched from a safe vantage point. He could not help but marvel at how Lily adapted to every new situation. She was calm under fire, predicting attacks before they happened, leading by example without arrogance. He thought about how she would have survived on Cinder Vale, where storms could crush buildings and predators hunted in packs. Here in space, the stakes were different, but her skill translated perfectly. The elite strike team regrouped for a second assault. This time, they focused on the command center. Cadets and humans scrambled to defend it, but the warriors were fast and brutal. Lily assessed the path to the center, noting hazards and choke points. She created a plan in seconds, signaling to small groups to hold specific areas while she led the strike herself. The corridor leading to the command center was narrow. The elite warriors charged, confident in their speed and strength. Lily ducked under a strike, rolled past a swinging weapon, and slammed into one of them with full force. He stumbled, disoriented, and another cadet moved in to finish him. She repeated the tactic, moving like a shadow, striking only where it mattered most. Cadets began recording the battle with their devices. Nora Brooks, who had followed Lily from training, captured every movement. The feed showed Lily facing enemies that were supposed to be unbeatable, moving faster than anyone thought possible, and taking control of the battle with calm precision. Across the sector, viewers would later see her and realize that humans from Deathworlds were not ordinary. They were predators when survival demanded it. As the fighting continued, casualties mounted among the pirates. Their confidence turned to fear. They had not expected resistance like this. They had not expected humans, small, underestimated humans, to move with lethal skill and intelligence. Elite warriors fell, one by one, to tactics they had not anticipated. The station echoed with the sounds of battle, metal clashing, shouts, and the occasional explosion. Lily's team moved as one unit. Eric and Maya covered her flanks, following her signals without hesitation. Sierra and a few alien cadets who had learned from her now took positions with careful precision. The combined force created traps and ambushes, leading enemies into zones where their strength counted for nothing. Lily herself faced multiple attackers at once, striking, dodging, and guiding her allies simultaneously. Her calm demeanor was a sharp contrast to the chaos around her. Hours passed like minutes. The elite strike team was retreating, their losses mounting. The station held. Cadets and humans alike were exhausted but alive. The battle had been fierce, but Lily had turned fear into action. She did not celebrate. She checked the wounded, reassured cadets, and coordinated repairs. Ben approached her, exhausted and awed. "You did something no one thought possible. You led them, all of them. You made them fight like a real team." Lily shook her head slightly. "We survived. That is all that matters. The rest will come later." After the battle, the station was quiet again. The bodies of pirates lay scattered, and cadets began counting and tending to their losses. Whispers of the Deathworld girl moved through the station. Cadets who had mocked her before now spoke in hushed, respectful tones. Humans from Deathworlds were no longer dismissed. They were dangerous. They were predators. Lily walked through the station corridors alone, inspecting the damage and ensuring everyone was safe. She felt no triumph, only a quiet sense of duty. She knew this battle was over, but others would come. The galaxy was full of threats, and no one could wait for danger to strike politely. Survival required preparation, focus, and strength. She had all three, and she would continue to use them. News of the battle spread across the sector quickly. Recordings showed Lily moving against elite pirates with a skill and calm that seemed impossible. Cadets, Instructors and even distant commanders began to understand. Humans from Deathworlds were not ordinary. They could not be underestimated. As she looked out at the stars from the observation deck, Lily felt a strange calm. The station was safe for now. Her team was alive. The cadets had learned lessons they would not forget, and somewhere beyond the edge of sensors, new threats were already taking note. Lily did not worry about that. She was ready. She had always been ready. No matter what came next, she would meet it head-on. Because humans from Deathworlds did not fight for glory or honor. They fought to survive, to protect, and to ensure that no one could stand in their way. And the galaxy would soon learn that lesson. Whether it wanted to or not, the station was quiet now. Lights flickered softly over the damaged corridors. Cadets moved cautiously, checking the wounded, repairing broken systems, and counting the losses. Lily walked through the station slowly, her boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. She did not hurry, she did not panic. She had survived, and that was enough. Her team followed closely. Ben, Eric, and Maya were tired, their uniforms torn and weapons scuffed. They had fought harder than they ever had before. Alien cadets who had once mocked humans now looked at them with cautious respect. Some avoided eye contact, too embarrassed to speak. Sierra, who had stayed by Lily's side during the battle, finally spoke. You saved us all," she said softly. I didn't think humans could fight like that." Lily nodded slightly, her expression calm. "I did what had to be done. You survived. That is what matters." Ben approached her, shaking his head in disbelief. "Lily, you didn't just survive. You led everyone. You turned fear into strength. You made them fight better than they ever could have without you." Lily looked at him, eyes steady. "Leadership is not about orders. It is about action. People follow those who can survive and protect. The rest doesn't matter." In the control room, instructors began assessing the station's condition. Systems were damaged but still functional. The enemy had been defeated, and no one doubted it. Cadets whispered about Lily as they worked. The stories of her movements spread quickly. She had faced the elite warriors, survived, and led cadets who had never fought before into coordinated defense. The counting of bodies continued. Pirates lay scattered through the corridors. Their elite warriors, once thought unbeatable, had fallen. Cadets kept tally, stunned by the scale of what had occurred. Even the instructors had to admit, quietly, that no human had ever performed like this in the history of the academy. Lily did not watch the count. She moved from corridor to corridor, checking the wounded, helping those in pain. She did not celebrate. She did not speak of heroism. Survival was enough. She had learned long ago that survival was all that mattered. Everything else was secondary. Eric approached her, still shaking. "Lily, how did you do it? They were impossible." She looked at him calmly. "They were only impossible if you expected them to be easy. I did not expect that. I prepared, I watched, I acted. Fear is the enemy. Control is the weapon." Maya nodded, tears in her eyes. "You saved us all. We would have died without you." Lily only shook her head. "I didn't fight for thanks. I fought because we had to survive." Outside the station, the fleet of pirates had been repelled. Their ships were damaged, some destroyed. The rest retreated into deep space, wary now. News of the battle spread quickly through communication channels. Messages reached distant stations, and soon everyone in the sector knew about the humans from Deathworlds. The Academy cadets who had doubted her now spoke her name with respect. Alien instructors who had laughed before now studied her movements on replay feeds. Ben watched quietly, noting how she had changed the perception of humans in the sector in just one battle. As the station quieted, Lily found a moment to herself on the observation deck. She looked out at the stars, distant and calm. She thought about her home world, about the storms and predators, about the lessons she had learned as a child. Every movement, every strike, every decision in the battle had been shaped by her past. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but she was ready. Nora Brooks, the cadet recording the battle feeds, approached her quietly. "They're showing the videos across the sector. Everyone is talking about you. I didn't believe the stories before, but now," Lily turned to her. "Stories do not matter. Action matters. If people learn from it, good. If they fear it, also good. Nothing else is needed." Ben joined her, standing silently. "You've changed everything here. Humans are no longer underestimated." Lily nodded. "Humans from Deathworlds never needed to be understood. They only needed to survive. That is what we do best." Cadets repaired the station, tending to broken systems and helping those injured. Alien cadets, now humbled, followed the instructions of humans and aliens alike. They had seen what leadership really was: action, skill, and calm under pressure. Lily had shown them. As night fell on the station, the stars outside shone brighter than ever. Lily moved through the corridors, checking her team and the cadets. She did not rest. She did not celebrate. Survival was temporary, and there were always more challenges ahead. She had learned that long ago. In the coming days, the academy would adjust its training. Instructors would study her tactics, alien cadets would rethink their prejudice, and humans would be seen in a new light. She had proven that size, species, or background did not determine strength. Skill, patience, and courage did. Lily quietly helped her team prepare for the next day. She knew that this victory was only one of many battles to come. The galaxy was full of threats, and they would not stop. She would not stop. As she looked out at the stars again, she understood one truth clearly. Humans from Deathworlds did not fight for glory. They fought for survival, for protection, and to show that no threat could stand against them if they refused to fall. And the galaxy had just learned that lesson. The bodies were still being counted, the station was still being repaired, and the cadets still whispered of the Deathworld girl. But Lily moved forward quietly, ready for whatever came next. She had faced impossible odds and survived. She had led others to do the same, and she would continue to do so for as long as danger existed. Lily Adams was no longer underestimated. She was no longer ignored. She was now a warning, a living proof that humans from Deathworlds fought with a skill and calm that no one could match. The galaxy would remember her name, and they would remember the lesson she had taught. Underestimating a human from a Deathworld was the gravest mistake anyone could make. And somewhere, beyond the stars, new threats were already taking note. Lily would meet them. And no one would laugh again.